Hey guys, it's Ghosdee. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the novel and film Audition. Audition was originally written in 1997 by Ryu Murakami. It was later translated to English in 2009 by Ralph McCarthy. The film came out in 1999, directed by Takashi Miike. This film gave him worldwide success. He's also known for Ichi the Killer, which is currently on my list. I actually had never watched the Audition, but I did know pretty much everything about it by just hearing about it over the years. I was first introduced to it on this old ass TV show that was more of a special act that premiered on either TMC or Spike TV, which was like the 100 greatest horror movie moments or something like that. And this was, like, if I'm not mistaken, in the top 10, and it basically spoiled the climax for me when I was about 10 or 11. Didn't think that I would ever get around to watching it because honestly I was a little afraid. My friend was like, hey, I have the book, and I was like, whoa, I should read it and then cover it on my channel. And here we are. Before I get into it, I do want to say that I haven't read the book since like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I started in the beginning of the summer. It took me forever to finish it because it takes me forever to do literally anything. And I watched the movie last night. So if I missed some things in the book, feel free to correct me in the comments below. The film and novel is about Aoyama. It takes place 7 years after he lost his wife to an illness. I believe it was cancer in the book, and it was not specified in the movie. He has the sudden realization that he is lonely and getting older and decides that he wants to seek companionship. He is convinced by a friend of his to host an audition to find his woman. So they host an audition. What they do is create an audition and tell these women that they're auditioning for a show. And because his friend has ties in the film industry, they can make it look like they're actually going to produce this show, and they can just say that they didn't have the funds or, you know, things like that. They use this audition and ask a series of questions to get to know these women. It's really important for Aoyama to really get to know this person that he has this like relationship with. He is tasked with going through all the resumes and essays of the people that are auditioning. He's immediately intrigued by Asami's essay. He loves the way she speaks. He feels like she's very, very mature for her age. Come audition time, when he meets her, his fascination with her kind of deepens, and he basically decides that he no longer wants to go through with the rest of the process. He likes her. After one phone call for a meeting that is basically a date that she's not aware of, they do form some sort of romantic relationship, and then things kind of turn for the worse. Everybody knows the climax of this film, so a lot of people go into this film expecting that to happen. This film sticks pretty close to the novel, omitting some things, probably for the purpose of time. One that I particularly remember is there is a scene of Aoyama talking with a woman that works at a bar about Asami, just kind of like his thoughts on her and trying to get an opinion, especially because his friend that suggested the audition, Yashikawa, is a little skeptical of Asami immediately. Right after the audition, he's like our voice of reason. They also completely omitted this part, which I really enjoyed in the book, but I get it. I get why it's not in the movie. But there's a part that they talk about that Aoyama goes to Germany to study a pianist. That to me was so essential to the novel because the beginning of the novel, we spend a lot of time in his head. He's doing what he can to avoid mourning the death of his wife. He does this project that takes up a lot of his time. And then the movie, we kind of just like jump right into the whole love thing. As for tone, I feel like the book shifts tone a little bit. In the beginning, it feels like a drama, like a standard life drama, and then we get into this romance novel. Oh my god, the romance in the book honestly kind of took my breath away. The way that Aoyama sees Asami and their interactions are so genuine and pure, which was the intent, right? Because she's this person with a needle hiding behind this mask of like this porcelain angel doll thing. The book really helps create that mask by having us see Asami through the lens of Aoyama for so long. Like I said, it's really a romance novel for majority of the book, whereas the film is a horror film. In order to create suspense, we get that she's not just a mystery, but she is sinister. I would say earlier on in the film, I'm thinking of a scene in particular where after they have their first date and they wait to call each other, we see her like hunched over, like upset, like waiting for him. When he calls, she cracks a smile, and you would expect a smile of glee and happiness, but that smile is sinister. She was waiting for him to call to fall into her trap. That gives us our first glimpse of, yeah, this girl is somebody that we probably shouldn't be fucking with. In the book, we don't really see that mask reveal into the end. I would say like the last 50 to 20 pages of the novel is when we really get into, can we actually trust this person? And even then, reading it through Ayama's perspective, in the end, he's clearly in danger. There is still this doubt he experiences with like, how can this woman who is so perfect be this evil? How could she be doing this to me? But the tone is a little bit different, but I respect them both equally. I appreciate many things about the novel and the film. I especially love many shots in the film. Immediately, the opening shot when we're in the hospital and the wife is dying. There's so many perspective shots where we're not zoomed in on characters' faces, where it's like at a distance and we get to really see the whole room, and they use lighting and setting to really set the mood. That opening scene with when at the hospital the wife is dying, you get this beautiful like evening sunlight pouring through. It kind of reminded me of anime, honestly. Many of these shots reminded me of anime. The use of color in this movie is phenomenal. The sound design and the ending especially is great. And there's a lot of great gore as well. There's also a little bit of humor in the movie. I'm thinking the scene in particular, the actual audition scene, which is a little bit of a gimmicky montage where we see all these women come in and like share their stories, and you know, some of them are weird, some of them are funny, some of them are like uncomfortable, and there's like some goofy music playing all through. In the novel, we honestly didn't spend a lot of time in the audition itself because again, we're in Ayama's perspective. So basically the novel just says like Ayama saw many women, but he basically waited for Asami to appear. Definitely appreciate the feminist themes here. In the beginning of the novel and the book, Ayama and Yoshikawa have a conversation about women. They spend a lot of time basically shitting on women, calling them stupid, useless, saying everything that like the modern Hotep would say, like, oh, women are just like they used to be. Women are like useless and only care about stupid shit now. When I was reading the book, initially I was like, ugh, I hate this. Why am I reading this? But I think that was intentional because a woman got one over on them. They're thinking like, oh, we're gonna bamboozle these girls and tell them it's an audition and I'm gonna find my wife, which is not ethical in the slightest. Although I do really pity, I pity Ayama a lot, and I think his friend is kind of just a slime ball and he's kind of just like, whatever. I really loved the way the film showed the mood shift of Aoyama from the beginning to the middle to the end, because reading this book from his perspective, we know that in the beginning he's very like lonely and down and just like seemed exhausted and tired out from life. But once he starts having this relationship with Asami, he immediately perks up. Immediately. Reading his like happiness in this book brought so much joy to me. It was very cute, you know, because he's an older guy and he's experiencing these emotions like a teen boy, really. You know, these emotions of like love and that pureness and that bliss when you're experiencing love for the first time, or I mean, in his case, for the first time in a long time. And then we get to the end where it's just dread and shock and just utter disgust. The film does take some time to show us like some hallucinations that he experiences due to his dread and things like that. Also, he was like drugged in the end. This actor, I didn't get a chance to grab his name, did a great job. When I first read Audition, I thought that Asami was bringing on this pain as a form of revenge. Like, I saw this as a revenge piece, but with watching the movie and getting some different imagery, doing some more research on the book and the film, and hearing actually what the writer had to say, I really like that we explore this idea of this woman that is ill because of the pain that was brought to her as a child, where she has conflated love and pain. And, you know, she says to Ayama, like, you're supposed to love me and only me. We see that she gets rid of the picture of his ex-wife. We learn that she had a relationship with somebody that had a relationship with somebody else. She ends up killing them. And she's using pain to express her way of love and is enjoying the fuck out of it. That is why the climax is so creepy. The climax is creepy not because it's just this woman torturing a man. It's the sheer joy on her face as she's taking this wire to cut off his fucking foot, and she's shoving these needles into him and his eyes, and you know, she's singing deeper and deeper, and she sings it like in this high-pitched, like cute little like little voice, and you're like, you are unhinged. She played the game, because even like watching the movie, knowing who she becomes in the end, or who she actually is, you know, and you see her, like, she talks about her life, talks about her pain, because she does open up to him about her past, and you just like feel bad for this girl. And I honestly feel that the reason why I feel like one thing that attracts Aoyama to Asami is that he pities her. He also respects that she has had a tough upbringing and handles it so well. He sees that as like a sign of being mature. The book is honestly an easy read. It took me a long time because it just takes me a long time to get through books because I get bored of reading really fast. But I think like the average reader could read this in like a week. Honestly, it's an easy read. The movie, aside from the subject matter, which is just like amazing, and the acting, the style, like I said, the shots, I honestly, after watching this last night, considered putting it in one of my top all-time favorite horror films. It takes a couple days of a film marinating in my mind for me to really make the decision, so we'll see. But all in all, yeah, I definitely give this 5 stars on Letterboxd, and it's currently sitting at a 3.8 stars on Letterboxd. I didn't get a chance to look at the Goodreads rating on Audition the book, but if you want to check that out, I definitely recommend it. And if I were to rate the book, I would say 5 out of 5 stars on the book as well. Thanks guys for watching this video. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to watch all of my future content. You can always hit the bell to be notified whenever I release a new video. You can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Disco Llama, Twitter at Ghosdee, and Letterboxd at Ghosdee. Thanks. I'll see you guys in the next video.